Alright, so good morning everyone. It's Saturday. Switched up lakes today, so as you can see I've got my beautiful rod holder provided by my truck. This boat ramp at Kitsap Lake Park. Well, there's two. There's the boat launch that's over there and the boat launch over here. It's just easier to bring the truck down here. So as you can see, I've got it out and I'm using power eggs. I've heard a lot of good stuff about it here. It's also conducive to bass, so we'll see if we can get some bass while we're out here too. Definitely into that whole multi-species, if you can't catch one, you can at least try and catch the other philosophy. So let's hope. I've got duty tomorrow, so this is going to be the last day of fishing for this week at least. So we'll see what goes on. So let's talk about a couple of the different types of fishing. One of the most popular is probably steel fishing, which is reference to either like you'd use for catfish where you let the line sit, or you use a bobber. So for trout, I typically use the still fishing technique. There's people that'll get trout on inline spinners and stuff like that. That's not really me. It's not the way I was raised. It's a great technique, and I mean it works, but unless I'm out on a boat or a kayak, that's just not the way I would get them. Though I've heard stories, especially at this lake, of people getting them on the inline spinners. Nice thing about inline spinners, you can use them for bass and trout. It's really what your preference is. Most of the inline spinners are run like $2, so I mean they're very affordable. You can get them at Walmart, Dick's, Sportsman's Warehouse, most sporting goods stores, Amazon. I mean, everyone's got Amazon these days, or at least have bought something off of Amazon. You can use still fishing for trout by getting minnows and just hooking them either through the lip or through the back and let them swim around. And what the bass will see is an injured prey and pretty much an easy meal. The great thing about using that is you're not just limited to bass. You can get crappie, bluegill, any kind of the sunfish, brim type of deal. With me, I don't really use that method because typically when I'm going for bass, I want to use artificials. I get more than just one shot out of something. Again, not knocking any fishermen who do it or have tried it. A couple of the other methods you can use are, of course, like your Senkos and stuff like that, both for still fishing and for going after bass using the other techniques. One of my favorite things to use for bass are the Senkos. I'll either wacky rig them, which is rig them through the middle, and I'll do a video on how I rig them, or the Texas rig, which is definitely weedless. In my opinion, it saves your baits a little more. That way you don't tear the middle out of it, and then you're kind of stuck with plastics. They run $2 to $7 a bag depending on what brand you use. I use personally Yums or Strike King. If there's a deal on Gary Yamamoto, I'll use his, which they're all great baits. The thing with still fishing, getting back into that, is one, it's a sit and wait game. It's good for kids. When my daughter starts really going out with her fishing pole and fishes with me by just sitting there and watching a video or something on her tablet, that's one of the first things I'm going to teach her, because it teaches patience, and you really have to eye everything. So for example, I've got one out on a bobber and one off the bottom with power eggs floating up in the air. One's got these gulp pinched crawlers. They're 2-inch. I unfortunately ran out of night crawlers this morning. the last like 4 I had were in my box and dead. So instead of trying to do a hot soupy mess, I decided to just try these and see how they do. I've never caught a fish off of them. Power eggs, of course, I've caught fish off of. The dough. The only downside of this, and if anyone knows how to do a better job on doing it without having to worry about them going, please comment. But like the Potski dough bait and stuff like that, I've used similar for catfish. Never had really an issue because I'm not tossing a mile out. But for trout, I found that it will go and disintegrate very quickly. So if anyone has any idea, either use it if they've used a bait sack or something for power bait and had positive results, please by all means comment, let me know, because that's one technique I really want to refine. I kind of like using the dough baits better because you have a better you can do different combos and everything, and they last longer if they stay on there. Well, as you can see, a couple hours in, it is almost, let's see, what time is it? 3:26, and the only thing I've had a hit on was the Gulp wannabe night crawler with no success. So I think it was just a little baby bluegill or something. So he hit it. I think the hook was just a tad too big for his mouth. So hopefully here in the near future, I mean, it's a beautiful day out. It's certainly not complaining, other than a couple little showers, and the sky has been not really bad in the sense of rain, but hopefully here it starts getting warm before too long. That way I can actually get out into the water on the yak and get a little bit of bass fishing in with this pre-spawn. So laters.